Welcome back, one and all. We are here with round 4 of our Cup Runneth over with Plebeian Racing. We are at Nürburgring on the Sprint GT course. Sprint for the cut-through, GT for the not-killer chicane. Qualifying has just begun. We're going to fade right in here. There's the broadcast. Hey, look at that. Folks just now leaving the pits. You see the timing truck rolling down the order as people leave. Lots of drama last week at Race City and the twin races there. This is a track better known to most of the competitors, so hopefully not quite as tricky, but there are still some trouble spots. The GT chicane, while gentler, is still catching some folks out, as is the cut-through for the sprint course. It takes people away from Sector 2 of the GT course, and comes out just at the top of the Schumacher S's. Cuts out that section at the bottom of the hill there with the wicked hairpin, and replaces it with a perhaps more wicked hairpin. Rolling down the hill between the two normal sections of the course. Peter O'Brien, the first to set a time across the line. First out of the pits, anyway. Hopefully a more familiar track will allow people to focus on controlling the car and not learning a track at the same time. 11 drivers so far. Not sure if anybody's going to show up later. And of course, it's a double race. So even if someone happens to miss race 1, they might jump into race 2. But we'll see how it goes. Folks still getting a handle on it. A cold and overcast day here at virtual Nürburgring. In real life, there was actual rain, but as the league has not fully embraced paid CSP as a requirement. Thought it best to... Ooh, wicked drift from Peter O'Brien. Heading out onto the back straight. Let's, hey, AutoCam, let's pick somebody new. Why don't we go to second place for now, Kevin Woodward. Turn AutoCam off. He's just behind Peter. We'll see if he manages to set a faster time. Penguin behind in the 227. Then Smoke in the 133. Their car numbers together are 360. That's an all-around cool bit of trivia. O'Brien stays at the top of the order, but Martin Smith, and Tyler Jason Lavier up into top spot. 127.9. 3.5 tenths away from Peter. Penguin in third. In that tricky decreasing radius left there in Sector 1. Into an even tighter right. And onto what would be a pretty long chute, except this is instead the approach to the cut-through for the sprint course. Big mix-up in the back as folks are setting their first quali lap. Oh my! Penguin with a big old slide coming through the cut-through. Where is James Leader? He was on the server previously. I don't see him now. He was drifting through corners pretty effectively. I hope he hasn't had a VR issue. Speaking of VRs, VKR beats out Jeremy Mercer, who beat out TJ. So now half a second or thereabouts among the top 4 drivers. TJ off as Penguin sets a 128.3. Mercer following Randy Finnegan onto the front straight. If Randy had handled that exit, he might have even gotten a slipstream, but Randy wide out of the final corner, perhaps letting Jeremy through. Purple, purple, and purple again by 0.2. Jeremy Mercer takes the pole for now. It'll be hotly contested for the next 5 minutes. Saucepan Willie with a 129, only a second and a half back. Pretty tight for the top 5. Penguin has shared a setup. Nice guy. Yep, Randy is off. He'll have to set another out lap and full lap. Top 5 still under a second. Martin Smith just over a second away in 6th place. And a short lap like this one, even tiny differences will add up. So these guys will be trying to find every tiny fraction they can. Ooh, a little heavy over the curbs there for Martin. Not sure he'll be happy with this lap. He was up half a second in Sector 1, but Sector 2 is down 0.7, so he will not set a best. I guess there are only 2 timing sectors on this layout. So we're only getting Sectors 1 and 2, which is really Sectors 1 and 3 if you're looking at the full GT course, but who's counting besides the computer? 0.02 of a second VKR closes, but does not overtake Jeremy Mercer. And I do see James Leader back in chat. Perhaps he'll be back on the server. Yes, indeed. There he is. The man in green for Blue Gang. The sole representative on track so far for Zero Bandwidth and Blue Gang in this series. I kind of gave up on being able to drive the car and have instead chosen to be with you here in the commentary booth. Where is Luke anyway? That's an excellent question. By the way, where are you? It's your league, man. What's up, James? So 13 drivers tonight. Oh, and we have Saucepan Willie overtaking Martin Smith into 6th place in a number 67 very Canadian livery. Expertly prepared. Speaking of Canadian, we have a strong Canadian contingent. Here's Don Debian in the 114. Very Pfaff-like. O'Hare Airport. That is not exciting. I have been stuck staying overnight in the O'Hare terminal before. I hope you do not share that fate. It is unpleasant. Let's see, who haven't I shown yet? Here's Smoke, 10th place. 2.5 seconds off the pace. Been delayed twice. You know, when I got stuck there, I was on a flight that was supposed to leave the airport at 8:30 p.m., but there was high wind, so they delayed it till 9, and then they delayed it till 10:30. But they had already boarded us, so we were stuck on the plane while they delayed and delayed and delayed. Finally, at 11:30 p.m., 3 hours after what was supposed to be our takeoff time, they were like, well, flight's canceled, can't get it out. And the pilots have now been over their flight time. So by the time we got off the plane and back into the same terminal, through the same gate we had entered, it was midnight, and there were no cabs, and all the hotels were full because everybody else who had not been stuck on an airplane had been on a phone getting a hotel room. So my pregnant wife and I got to sleep in the terminal at O'Hare Airport. It was unpleasant for a variety of imaginable and unimaginable reasons. So I very much hope that you do not suffer the same ordeal that we did, and get out of there safely and soundly and back to home. It's not a trophy I sought with any desire or determination. Unlike VKR, who has now taken the pole 0.04 of a second ahead of TJ, who is just over a tenth ahead of Jeremy Mercer. Martin Smith, a second back, has taken 4th place. Peter O'Brien coming up to try and better. Oh, he's only half a tenth off of Martin Smith. We'll see. He's 2/10 slow in Sector 1. We shall see if he can better it here. He'll need to be up by 7/10 in Sector 2 to claim 4th place. When is the Trackmania interlude? No kidding. Peter O'Brien does get ahead of Martin Smith with a 1:27.7 at the very end of qualifying. Who will be last across? The top 3 are still attempting another lap, so we may see an even faster time here. TJ off. James Leader across the line in 5th place, just edging Martin. Penguin's still going here. VKR could set an even faster time. Jeremy Mercer also still out on track. VKR does not better his time. We'll go to Penguin. He's coming out of the final corner. He's 3/10 behind and doesn't quite do it. He will remain in 7th. Jeremy Mercer trying to better his position. He's only less than 2/10 off the lead. He's got the chicane and 1 corner to go. We'll see if he can get there before the session closes. Around the final corner now onto the pit straight. Don't have a Sector 1 time, but we'll see how this goes. Oh, is this a valid lap? Is that why we don't have a sector time? He is across the line and through with a 1:27.2. The top 6 within a second or thereabouts of each other. This gon' be good. Good indeed. Brandon Williams not getting to set a time during qualifying. He's going to sneak out here at the end and see if he can get one in, but I don't think there's enough wait time at the end of the session. Go James! I'm rooting for James because he's my teammate, and I cannot drive this car. That's why I'm here, behind a microphone, bringing you the action on Plebeian Racing. Thanks, Nightbot. Join Plebeian Racing Discord. This is Brandon's outlap. I don't think he's going to be setting a time here. But he's getting some valuable practice. Whoa, big drift coming out of the cut through and boink. Well, that didn't go according to plan. James still out there getting some pracky because qualifying is practice. There's the end of the session. And here are your competitors. VKR on pole with a 127.1. Less than a tenth back is Tyler Jason Lavallee in second, 127.215. Jeremy Mercer third, 127.284. Wow, 1/10 of a second separating your top 3 in qualifying. Peter O'Brien, James Leader, and Martin Smith, the rest of the top 6. Then Jorge Arteaga. I never did get Penguin. Saucepan Willie in 8th, Don Debbie in 9th, and Kevin Woodward 10th. In the back, Smoke, Randy Finnegan, Brandon Williams, who was not able to set a time, and me in the transit van. It's the race. It's the race. I'm going to get my butt right off this track. And we're going to free up the camera. We're going to free up the camera. Boink. There we go. And we're going to do a brief grid walk while we're waiting for the race to start up. VKR and TJ on the front row. Then we have Jeremy Mercer and Peter O'Brien. We have James Leader and Martin Smith on row 3. Then Penguin and Saucepan Willie. Then Don Debbie and Kevin Woodward. Smoke and Randy Finnegan on row 6, and Brandon Williams in the back. Whee! Rewind the camera. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, the problem is the van would be right in the exit of the final corner if I didn't warp to pits. So, yes, here I am. Whee! Hello, everybody. I can't make the driver wave, but there's our van. Woof! Through the fence. The magic of sim racing. We're now under a minute. We'll pan the camera back down. A beautiful but overcast day here at the Nürburgring. Flying a drone with an Xbox controller is the best. I can perch this right down here by turn 1. Let's do that. Should have practiced for van avoidance. Steering wheel is not centered. Yeah, I know. I'm also not driving. Thanks, AC. Thanks for looking out for me, buddy. Oh, I should probably insert the Race 1 start card. There it is. Race 1 is starting very soon. Lights are coming on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And away we go. Green, 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 boogity, boogity, etc. We are racing at Nürburgring on the Sprint GT course. Looks like VKR out to a lead into turn 1. TJ and Mercer side by side into this grueling hairpin at the start of the race. Everybody through relatively... Oh, no! Don Debian tagged at the exit. He will have to catch up. And we're all heading into... You know what? I'm going to stick with this all the way through here. This is a nice little shot. Kevin Woodward on Penguin gets through. Now let's follow the action a more conventional way. Tyler Jason Lavallee into the lead ahead of VKR. Jeremy Mercer also sneaking through into second place. VKR not negotiating the opening corners effectively, or as effectively as his nearby competitors. We have James Leader and Peter O'Brien rounding out the top 5. Nose to tail all the way back to Penguin in 9th place. Then we have the folks involved in the turn 1 and 2-ish incident playing catch-up already. Through the GT chicane for the first time. Peter O'Brien aggressively over the curbs. But unlike the death chicane at Race City, surviving much more effectively. Our leader all the way to the inside, trying to break that draft and hold the line. Jeremy Mercer, relentless in his pursuit. Down to turn 1 again at the completion of lap 1. It's Lavallee, Mercer, VKR, Leader, O'Brien, Smith. Your top 6. With the gap opening slightly to Saucepan. Well, no, the gap is closing. The gap is between O'Brien and Smith, and Saucepan Willie is coming up. Smoke now around Randy Finnegan for 10th place in the back. Playing catch up here. Top 3 still very close together, and the pack of 4th, 5th, and 6th now forming as they go through the cut-through for the sprint course. Bumper-to-bumper traffic through Sector 2. TJ with a negligible lead, but still a lead. It's Mercer hot on his heels, trying to find a way through. Also a fight now between Woodward and Penguin. Maybe even a little bit of a bump draft here. It's Penguin trying to line something up, thinks better of it. Through the chicane they go. Woodward very defensive, compromising his exit. Somehow holds onto that place as they go through the final corner. Fast lap times down the board as we complete our first flying lap. Randy Finnegan has gone off at the GT chicane. That is a tricky, tricky corner in these cars. Try to take it a little bit too hard, and the car just understeers right into that barrier. Woodward and Penguin still battling wheel to wheel through Sector 1 still. This is a nice part of the course for some battling. Lots of back and forth, left and right and then left. You can really go toe-to-toe and have a nice little battle. This is for 8th place, but you wouldn't know it for the fierceness of the competition. Big slide from Penguin. As he puts on the power on the exit, Woodward has the inside line for the sprint cut through. Penguin squeezes him right to the curb. Tough but fair. Then goes all the way to the exit, gets the better exit through the sprint cut through. And retains the place. This is a battle for all the marbles here. Woodward not able to find a way through this time, but definitely has his sights set on taking this place. Penguin with a great defense there on this lap. Further up the field, Martin Smith still chasing Peter O'Brien, and not but Peter with a big bump off the curb, cuts to the inside. Smith follows. He had a better run out of the corner, I think, and now is going to use it for an inside move into the hairpin at turn 1. Scored ahead for now, but O'Brien around the outside maintains the speed and now has the inside for 2. Again, the side-by-side action through Sector 1. What a great track this is. O'Brien holds on, a little bit of a slide into 3, but maintains the place. Smith must be content with maintaining 6th. Saucepan Willie, meanwhile, taking the advantage. Mercer, meanwhile, suddenly, through the sprint cut-through, takes the lead away from Lavallee. VKR in 3rd place. This is still within 6/10, the top 3. Only one custom livery among the 3 of them. Sad. Interesting lines, trying to get the draft, break the draft, attack, defend. DJ in an awkward position here, trying to attack for the lead, but also defend from behind. Williams briefly off there on the scoreboard in 12th place, but has rejoined ahead of Randy. They're playing catch-up after that lap 1 incident. Don Debian has passed them both and caught up to Smoke. He's got the pace. He can find a way back, although, you know, how many positions does he want to make up now that we do have that race 2 reverse grid to think about? But only points, well, points for this one, but no standing in ACSR. Anyway, Smoke and Debian across the line. Debian definitely faster on that lap. So we'll see how that plays out. Meanwhile, battle for the lead continues. All over the back of Mercer is Tyler Jason Lavallee. We got to get these guys some custom skins for the next race. They're the only 2, and they're constantly at the front, and they're constantly on camera because they're awesome. We should only strive to make them more awesome with some custom paint. I'm going to cut away briefly to see what Don's doing with Smoke here in the back. This is for 10th. Smoke in the black and purple Monster Energy 133. Don Debian in the almost FAF 114. Beautiful Canadian Lumberjack livery. Smoke wide on the exit onto the back straight, and Don Debian is through for 10th place. Decisive move there after Smoke's mistake. And away he goes. Is the stream laggy? I don't know. I can't tell because I'm the one streaming. Do I still have the window up that I can look at it? Mercer wide on the entry to 3. This is 3? Yeah, 3 and 4. Briefly pull up the stream here. Nope, looks good to me. I'm afraid it's you and your phone. You can try turning down the resolution. That generally helps. Oh, Smoke off again. Uh-oh. Has he regained the track? No, he's coming back up to speed. He's got Brandon Williams coming up behind him in the 929. Speaking of somebody who needs a custom livery. Stat. Folks spreading out now. Martin Smith aggressively over the curb and into the grass. Saucepan Willie taking advantage and going through for 6th place. I just randomly clicked on him and happened to catch that. That was cool. Peter O'Brien with his fastest lap of the race at 127.851. Trying to catch up to James Leader. It is some very good battling. It's a good race so far. Still half a second between the top 2. We have Martin Smith trying to make up for that Little bobble through the GT chicane. Don Debian with 129. He'll be trying to catch up to Kevin Woodward. That is a tough row to hoe. Kevin Woodward, a very fast driver indeed. You can tell folks have got their suspension soft and low as the front tires graphically clipping through the wheel wells there. Thanks, Kunos. Doesn't let you choose resolution? Really? Twitch always lets you change the resolution. How old is your Twitch app, man? Taking a look back at Penguin, trying to catch up to Martin Smith, who's trying to catch Osban Willie. This gap has opened up a bit. We'll see if Martin Smith can get a little bit more prudently through the GT chicane, and he does. Fast laps again from the leaders, 27.1, 27.3, and 27.4 for Mercer, Lavalley, and VKR respectively. So those gaps opening up slightly among the three of them, but they are still within one hiccup of each other. Fast laps also for Penguin and Saucepan Willie. Woodward with a 130. We'll see how Don Debian crosses the line. With a 128.8, he is catching Kevin. This could be a battle here with not too many laps from now. We've got 9 minutes to go. 7 laps done and 6 or so maybe before the end of the race. We'll see. 130.2 for Williams and a 131 for Finnegan. Still hanging tough. Jeremy Mercer enjoying some great success in this series. Took the opening round win, opening race win at Race City last week, and almost managed it again, I think, in race 2. I don't know. That was a week ago. It's a long time. Randy off. That looks like turn 3. That is a tough section. Uh-oh. Somebody just... we had a big shuffle of the timing there, I think. Sometimes the timing gets caught out at just the wrong moment. And... gets very confused, but everything seems to have settled down again. Penguin, Smith, and Saucepan Willie now nose to tail again. This is the battle for 6th place. Debian again still catching Woodward. Gap now down to 4 seconds from 5.5 just a lap ago. So we've got battles up and down the order. None of these positions is yet decided. I hate to say it, but if Randy has another big off, he may be at risk of encountering the leaders coming up from behind. Speaking of leader, James leader, 4.5 seconds adrift now of VKR in 3rd. He can only look on in awe and wonder as these three continue to march. James leader had some incredible drift exits from these corners in practice. I think he must have a drift competition to take this car to right afterwards and doesn't have time to change the setup, so he's just wheeling it. Meanwhile, Martin Smith, let's go on board with Martin. If I can get the keyboard to actually do things, that would be awesome. There we go. Good times, the joys of a wireless keyboard. Martin Smith just in the wheel tracks of Saucepan Willie, and you can see there in the mirror, Penguin lurking, always lurking. Into turn 1. A bit of follow the leader. Very different lines on the entry to 2. Penguin looking for a way through but can't quite do it. Willie very wide onto the slippery painted stuff. Also wide into 3. That's going to allow Martin Smith to go inside and then outside. He's going to have a better exit, but now he's on the green paint. But Willie dropping off the pace and has to settle for falling to the back of the peloton here. Martin and Penguin both through to take 6th and 7th. Saucepan Willie back to 8th. Meanwhile, Mercer opening up a lead on Lavallee and VKR, 2nd and 3rd. While we were watching that battle, not sure whether one of these guys had a bit of a hiccup, but in any event, we now have a small gap back to 2nd and 3rd. Still setting low 127s at the head of the pack, 127.9 for leader in 4th. And then another gap, 128.3 for Peter O'Brien. He's catching, but now with 5 minutes to go and 6 seconds to make up. That is a tall order indeed. Don Debian has caught Kevin Woodward for 9th place, and Saucepan Willie still fighting back against Penguin and Martin Smith. We have 2 battles to watch, and I don't have any way to split screen it like the cool TV broadcasts. I am just a man in a basement. But we'll watch all these battles as best we can. Still only a second gap here. Less than a second between TJ and VKR in the initial club. Fastest lap 129.8 for Brandon Williams. Too little too late, but still circulating. He'll be in a good position for race 2. He can build on this pace. Don not quite able to find a way around Kevin. We'll jump now to this battle that we've been following between Martin and Penguin and Saucepan Willie, who has now fallen off the back of these 2. Through the GT chicane again. Martin not sure what to do there, trying not to repeat his mishap from a few laps ago. Makes it through again this time. Penguin looking for any opportunity. Oh, but going wide on the exit. Still might have a run. No, the traction through the Assetto Corsa grass. Not quite as good as the black stuff. Peeking, not quite taking it seriously to the inside of turn 1. Just showing the nose of that car in the mirrors of Martin Smith. Again, different entries, different exits for these 2 cars. A little sideways action for Penguin. Maintaining it nicely. A nice subtle blue interior accents on Penguin's car. Ooh, a slide exit. Martin going wide, but Penguin going loose. We'll go back to the leaders in a moment, who are also getting close, but this seems to be the battle to watch right now, within half a second of each other. As they negotiate this twisty section at the start of Sector 2. Smith maintaining 6th position for now. Penguin with the draft as they go down the back straight through the kink and down towards the GT chicane again. Very carefully through that chicane. Don't want to mess anything up here. 129.0 for leader. His pace is falling. 127.7 for Peter O'Brien. We may have a battle brewing there as well. But with a 5-second gap, maybe not. Under a second also between Woodward and Debian still. Oh, a little bump and run there. All fair. Penguin seems to have backed off so that Martin could maintain the position after that little, just a kiss. The affection that these people have for each other while racing, it's not just respect. It's love. Should be seeing the white flag next time for the leaders, but these are the cars to watch right now. Still nose to tail for 6th place. Through the twisties and towards the back straight again. Penguin trying to keep it fair and clean, which is always difficult when you're this close to each other. And here we go to the white flag. Top 3 still in the low 127s. Lavallee floating with a 126.69. Penguin to the inside as Martin bobbles the chicane slightly. Penguin may have it here. Martin on the grass. But he'll have the slipstream down the back straight. We are going to flip to the leaders here, but these guys are just going hammer and tongs here. Martin back to the inside for turn 1. Penguin leaving the door open. Martin thinking better of it. Penguin may have this place now. Mercer, Lavallee, and VKR still very close as they head towards the sprint cut through. Still only 3/10 between Penguin and Smith. We're keeping an eye on the timing tower. The leaders are catching up to Randy, but I think he's going to be able to finish the race on the lead lap. Here come your leaders. 3rd place, tantalizingly close to the win. The podium is by no means decided. I heard a car go off there, but Randy seems to have made it through the chicane. Mercer, big bobble on the exit. Everybody stacking up behind him. This is going to be a drag race to the finish, but Mercer has the exit. And he is through for the win by 4/10 of a second. VKR also less than a second behind. We're going to flip right back to this battle between Penguin and Smith. Penguin has pulled away. Smith now falling back into 7th, and Willie banging on the door trying to get there, but looks like Penguin's going to hang on to it. Peter O'Brien with the e-brake turn over the line for 5th place. That was a battle and a half. Kevin Woodward and Don Debian also not decided until the line. Woodward maintaining 9th place, but only barely. Don did catch him and almost had him there at the end. Battles up and down the field. Smoke coming to the line. Through the chicane for the final time. Brandon Williams knocking on the door, but it looks like Smoke has this in hand. Still has to get the exit right here. Not too much throttle, not too much steering. Just ease it on out onto the straight, and away you go for 11th place. Brandon Williams coming to the line, and Randy Finnegan will finish the race out on the lead lap. Good for you. I don't think I would have managed that. And the beautiful Buzzin' Hornets, number 43. We're going to stick with him all the way to the line. And there he goes. Crossing that line. It's not going to give us a time. Peter O'Brien causing some mayhem in the pits. And there you have it. Mercer, Lavallee, VKR, leader O'Brien, Penguin, Smith, Willie, Woodward, Debian, Smoke, Williams, and Finnegan. That is your running order. 13 drivers in that sequence. Woodward now getting in on the pit donut action. I'm not sure why we're not heading... Oh, maybe it's waiting for me? Might be waiting for me. I'm going to try the weirdest thing ever. I'm going to blind drive up the front straight and see what happens here. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. What are we doing? What's happening? Oh, look out. Look out. Out of control broadcaster coming through. Oh, wow, those aren't solid. Huh, how about that? Anyway. Well, that's enough of that. I'm not sure what the session is waiting for, but let's see. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Not going to try and rope anybody into an interview just at the moment, but we have 20 seconds to go until the race starts again. But here's your finishing order. Jeremy Mercer in first, Tyler Justin Lavallee in second. I'm never quite sure how to pronounce his name. I should ask him. VKR in third place, James Leader fourth, Peter O'Brien fifth, Jorge Arteaga in sixth, lovingly named Penguin, Martin Smith in seventh, or M. Smith, as he's styled tonight, Saucepan Willie eighth, Kevin Woodward ninth, and now we're in race 2. And we're going to hit race, boop, and we're going to take the van off the track, boop. And we should have Randy lined up in the front. Right now we have Brandon Williams. What are we doing here? There we go. I kind of liked that. I kind of like the view from turn 1, so I think I'm going to do that again. Boop. 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 There we go. This'll do. Yeah, I'm just playing with stuff right now, but there you go. Here's the grid walk for race 2. Got Brandon Williams and Smoke on the front row. We have Don Debian and Kevin Woodward, then Saucepan Willie in the 67, followed by Martin Smith, then Penguin, Peter O'Brien, James Leader, that's VKR, Tyler Jason Levelet, and Jerry Mercer, your race 1 winner in the spacey number 21. This is a great view. Doesn't look like Randy's going to take the start here. He appears to be off the server. That is unfortunate. We've got only 12 drivers then for race 2. I'm going to go back to that nice little view we had of turn 1 before, because that actually worked pretty well. And I'm just a weird guy like that. We're going to put up the race 2 start card because that's what we're about to do. Six lights, and then we go racing. A 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 5E and a 6E. And away we go. Green flag and racing. Yep. Camera operator drunk. And we're coming down to T1. Looks like Williams will have the inside. Don Debian going for the move. Martin Smith also looking. Don might have it here, but Smoke with the better exit. Nope. Don squeaks through on the inside. And the faux faff number 114 jumps out to an early lead. What a move from Don Debian. Doing PSR proud, leaping into the lead there. Big kerfuffle in the back as the faster drivers for race 1 try to make it through. But Don, decisive move to the inside at turn 1, takes him into the lead of the race. Smoke follows with Brandon Williams in 3rd. Kevin Woodward and Martin Smith already up to 4th and 5th, fighting over that position. VKR passed by Jeremy Mercer in the back of the field. TJ already up to 6th place from the back. Ooh boy, look at the battle in the backfield. Peter O'Brien going 3 wide there with Martin and Penguin. Oh, and a touch from Peter sends Penguin around. Oh, no. And he's going to hang back there, it looks like. Oh, what a tragedy. Peter O'Brien trying to get through on the inside there. I think Penguin might not have seen him, or Peter might not have judged the exit well, but whatever the case, we'll have to see it in the replay if we can. But, oh, what a drama on the first lap. Peter O'Brien taken to the pits. Not sure if that's for damage or a self-imposed drive-through. Smoke going wide in turn 1 on lap 2. Leaves Brandon Williams to take 2nd place. Martin Smith already up to 3rd place. VKR falling back. Smoke falling back to James Leader, who's now already in 6th place. Martin getting a little love tap from TJ. See, it's all about the love in Plebeian. It's all about the love. Kevin Woodward also in this mix. Don Debian hanging on to the lead. He has led a lap of race 2 at the Nürburgring. The 114 setting the pace. PSR. Kevin Woodward regaining 4th place briefly and going right back. Mercer and Smoke getting into it. Around the outside and further. 2x2 onto the back straight. Smoke going very wide, just trying to hang tough with these guys. Wheel to wheel with Saucepan Willie. As they come up to the chicane, can this last? Can the center hold? It does. And through they go safely. TJ through on Martin Smith for 3rd place. The podium is a shuffle, and Don Debian leads a 2nd lap of this race. Brandon Williams in 2nd. followed by Lavallee, Smith, Woodward, and Leader. 130s from our Race 1 leaders as they fight through the pack and with each other. Brandon Williams wide out of turn 1. That may give the edge to TJ around the outside through 2. Onto the green painted stuff. The AstroTurf is unforgiving. Brandon Williams with a little bit of a hit check, perhaps, or just sliding on the pavement. Martin Smith trying to get through there with a cutback. We'll go on board with Leader. How about that for an afternoon traffic jam? Meanwhile, Don Debian is loving this. He is driving away with it. Almost 2 seconds now. Back to TJ, another PSR import. Brandon Williams hanging tough in 3rd place against Woodward, Smith, and Leader. Has a sim racing rule got you down? Do you need the long arm of the law? Call Woodward, Smith, and Leader. We'll fight for you. Oh, Martin on the curb gets a very squirrely exit, and Leader's looking up the inside. Nope, nah, not today. Big drift exit, but he somehow gets the run. 28.7 from Debian, and he leads another lap. A convincing performance for your Race 2 leader. Speaking of leaders, James up the inside for turn 1, a big send. Martin Smith going for the cutback, but there is not enough room. There's a car there, and it's green. What a battle from 2nd through 7th. Nose to tail as they come back through Sector 1 again. Oh, a little bit of bumping and grinding there through 3 as they negotiate the S onto the short chute to the cut through. TJ now catching up to Don. Saucepan Willie falling to Penguin. This is a 9th and 10th battle as they go through to the sprint cut through. Brandon Williams leading a train of cars, trying anything they can to break free. Anyway. I will not curse you with my singing ability. Not going to do it. I like you all too much. VKR looking to the inside of Jeremy Mercer, who is trying to get past Martin Smith. Look at this pack. 3rd through 8th now. All bottled up behind the cork that is Brandon Williams, whose pace is great. But these guys all finished ahead and would love a chance to do so again. 28.8 from Debian, 27 from TJ. Look at the draft-breaking strats as they bob and weave down the front straight. Lavallee through on Debian. He may have led his last lap of this race, but Don Debian hanging tough in 2nd place, and a convincing performance there for much of the race. We are 7 minutes in, and it has only just been done. Woodward falling to Leader, side by side through 3 and 4 again. Williams still holding these guys up and making the racing quite a show for the rest of us. This battle has now... almost 3 wide and a big touch there. VKR going into the back of Martin Smith. Oh, and Penguin trying to capitalize on the mistake, sends the car around, too enthusiastic on the throttle. That sends Saucepan Willie through into 8th, and this has shaken up like a snow globe in the hands of a toddler. Now Leader looking to the inside of Woodward, trying to get a hand on 4th place, and he does. 4 now. They're approaching the GT chicane 2 by 2 with Mercer in the back. Woodward trying not to collide with a number 13. Visibly smashes the brakes, trying to keep the car under control and stay in the fight. Mercer uses that to his advantage. Cut deep to the inside on the final corner. And through he goes, maybe, not convincingly. Woodward coming now back on the inside. As they approach turn 1, Woodward may be able to outbrake him, but will he outbrake himself? James Leader is maintaining the position. That would be 4th position ahead of these two. Woodward inside becomes outside, and Jeremy Mercer is now through into 5th place. Kevin Woodward back to 6th with Martin Smith just behind, recovering from his mishap from earlier in the short chute. Little love tap into the back of the 72 of Woodward. Meanwhile, Lavallee out to a 4.5-second lead. He has been cut loose ahead of Don Debian, who maintains second. He's got a 3-second lead over Brandon Williams in third place, as this battle has simply been too fierce to catch up with them. Keeping an eye on Woodward. He is in the middle of this action. We'll now jump to leader, who is still trying to find a way around the 929, the orange and black of Brandon Williams. Jeremy Mercer up to 5th place behind. VKR in the incident earlier, not able to capitalize. Ooh, they go through the GT chicane. Leader, much more precise than usual. He's really controlling his drifty urges. We'll see if that also holds true on the exit to the front straight. Yes, it does. Straight to the inside wall again, Don Debian. Loving watching this in his mirrors. Leader peeking to the inside, but not quite. Jeremy Mercer following them into turn 1. Going for the over-under here is the 13. Brandon Williams way wide on the exit, but cutting back across for the line into 2. This is good stuff. Very different lines from these 3 drivers. Williams, leader, and Mercer 3rd, 4th, and 5th as they go through sector 1. Mercer diving to the inside of the 13. But again, inside becomes outside. Leader trying to come back, but can't do it. Mercer around the outside of 3. Takes the place and now is 4th with his sights set on the podium. The number 13 Blue Gang car simply not able to negotiate those curves. Smoke, meanwhile, has gone to the pits and out of the race. Didn't catch what happened to him. Apparently Brandon Williams' ping is not the greatest, so that's going to be fun to cope with. Mercer peeking to the inside of the kink on the back straight. Looking for any way through, now peeking to the inside, approaching the chicane, maybe trying to scare Williams off his feet. James Leader watching the action, looking for a mistake. We'll go on board with Leader, why not? Oh, because my keyboard doesn't want to. There we go, on board with Leader. You can see, oh, big bobble and onto the grass, and Woodward may have a run on him now. This has suddenly become a battle for 5th with Leader, Woodward, and Smith. So we'll go back to Smith and watch the action. Woodward to the inside of turn 1. Maybe. Smith following him through. Leader hanging tough around the outside. Smith too hard on the throttle. Can't make it stick. Leader still hanging in there against Woodward, but Woodward with the better run, but he's out onto the AstroTurf. We'll see how it goes into 3. Leader hanging in there, wheel to wheel. Smith still watching. Back from 7th. The timing tower is going absolutely crazy trying to determine which of these cars is in front. The answer is neither and both. Meanwhile, you can see ahead, Mercer may be ahead of Williams. Yes, he is. Mercer now into 3rd place. Has his sights on Don Debian. The 13 and 72 still side by side, and somebody has gone wide there. It's Mercer, and Williams is back through into 3rd. Mercer must have gotten on the throttle too hard coming out of the sprint cut through and is now fallen back into the clutches of Woodward as Leader has fallen off from beside Woodward and is now in the clutches of Smith. We have 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th still within 1 second of each other on this racetrack with 8 minutes to go in the race. Whew. Can I breathe now? No, I don't think I can. Brandon Williams out of the GT chicane is around. He has turned around and 5 cars go by. 6 cars go by. Oh my goodness, a disaster for Brandon Williams. Just a touch of the throttle coming out of the GT chicane and everyone is through. He's back to the back. What a showing at the front of the field for Brandon Williams. Oh, a big touch from VKR as Leader moves to defend and VKR cuts across the track and doesn't quite have the room for that move like he thought he did. Penguin in the rearview mirror, getting a big slide out of 1. We're going to go back to the exterior cam. Look at this battle for 4th place on this track. 2x2 into turn 3. Leader for now in front of it. But this is a pack of 6 cars separated by basically nothing. And you have a podium finisher at the back of it. Well, not at the back of it anymore, as VKR has jumped all the way through to 6th place. Ahead of Smith and Penguin and Saucepan Willie. He is now up to fighting with Kevin Woodward. Trying, looking outside, looking inside, onto the back straight. Penguin, another big slide coming onto the straight, trying to put the power down. That might give Martin Smith an advantage, and it does. Smith to the inside of the kink. Takes away 7th place. We're going to jump ahead to Woodward and VKR battling through the GT chicane. Leader is through and away. VKR looking for any way he can. Peeks briefly to the inside, but thinks better of it this time. This is difficult. I'm not even driving, and it's difficult. Imagine what these guys are going through. Don Debian now down to 3.5 seconds over Jeremy Mercer here, race 1 winner. VKR looking to the inside of Woodward into turn 1. And he may or may not have it. He's heavy on the throttle. Woodward smoother and on the outside exit. He's hanging tough there to the inside of 2. Side by side into 3 now. VKR may have the advantage being on the inside of 4, but Kevin will have the better exit. Martin Smith peeking to the inside, trying to unsettle VKR. And Penguin to the outside. It's 2 by 2 down the short chute to the cut through. Woodward still in front of all this. Hangs onto it. VKR not able to get through Martin Smith on Penguin again. Looks like he's going to make it, but Penguin coming back at him. Takes the place right back as they come towards the turn onto the back straight. It's Woodward, VKR, Penguin, Smith, Willie. That would be 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, all in a row, and under a second back to front. Or front to back, or side to side. Well, they're not side to side right now, but that'll change soon enough. Oh, way wide for VKR and even wider from Smith in the back of this line. He's going to lose a little bit of time. Saucepan Willie's clutches waiting for him. 127.8 from Mercer trying to catch up to Debian. He's got a 2-second gap to overcome in 5 minutes. Side by side, VKR and Woodward into turn 1 on the 10th lap of this race. Woodward's faster around the outside, but VKR with the inside move. Can he make it stick? Maybe they're wheel to wheel again through turn 2. Penguin can't decide who to go with. VKR with a better exit speed on the outside makes it stick finally. He will take 5th at the front of this pack. Penguin now looking on Woodward for a move. Smith looking to make a move on Penguin. James Leader cut loose, has pulled away 3 seconds, well, 2.5 anyway, on VKR. Oh, and Woodward with a big slide. Too much throttle out of the cut through. Smith and Willie both through on him. He goes back to 9th. Peter O'Brien on a recovery drive has caught up to this pack. They've been fighting so hard that Peter O'Brien, even following a drive-through penalty, may have been self-imposed there. We certainly did impose it, so it looks like he took a sportsmanship drive-through after his hit earlier in the race. Or maybe he even had damage, but whatever the case, he has caught up to this battle on pace. Debian falling to Mercer. Was that an off, or is Mercer just that fast? I think he's just that fast. Debian has been caught and passed by Jeremy Mercer. 15 seconds behind TJ, who has been driving away from this craziness for much of the race after the move he put on Don to take the lead. Mercer driving away now. Leader trying to catch Don. This is 1st, 3rd, and 4th all imports from PSR. Brandon Williams has fallen off the back of the pack into the pits and out of the race. That's a shame. Once you fall off the pace and lose touch with the next car, it is tough to get back. And after doing so well in the first half of this race, it is just a heartbreak to see him with that spin in the chicane and right to the back of the field. Everybody was bottled up behind him. But what a drive from Brandon in the opening laps of this race. Fantastic stuff. Don Debian still trying to hold on to a podium spot. James Leader pursuing with only 2 minutes 10 to go. A 126.7 from Tyler Jason Lavallée at the front of this field. That is crazy go nuts. 16 seconds to the good of Jeremy Mercer in second, who just turned a 127.9, a full second slower. Half a second back to Don Debian. with a 130.2. Or 129.2, sorry. Let's see. James Leader has caught Don Debian. We'll see this battle for a podium spot. O'Brien through on Woodward, meanwhile. This is in turn 1. Still wheel-to-wheel Woodward with a huge send to the inside of 3. How he didn't just plow into Peter O'Brien, I do not know. Absolute hero move, but it didn't work as O'Brien had the better exit around the outside, just keeping the speed up. Woodward peeking to the inside now for the short shoot and the cut through. He might have it here. Unsettles O'Brien. He takes a not ideal line, but now they're wheel-to-wheel down here. Oh, O'Brien cutting in front. The decisive defense. O'Brien holding on to it for now. Woodward with a wider line. Trying to carry a little bit more speed onto the back straight, but doesn't quite work. And O'Brien is not only through, but driving away. Meanwhile, back to the battle between Leader and Debian for the last podium spot. VKR is also catching this duo and making it a trio. Leader looking to the inside of Debian, who is not giving this up without a fight. He is not faffing about. But Leader looks like he's through. Debian could go for the over-under here, but he's caught on the outside. Leader with a perfect car placement there denies Debian the over-under. VKR also around the outside of the 114. And rather suddenly, Debian falls from 3rd to 5th. The former leader of the race has been overtaken by the leaders of race 1. But still hanging in there and fifth. What a drive from Don, though. Goodness. Holding these guys off. And really asserting himself at the opening laps. Peter O'Brien with another little mishap. Looks like he was either off or allowing Willie through for some sort of bobble. But he has now fallen off the back of Woodward. Have things finally calmed down? This is the end of the race. Just the end of the race, and TJ is through with the win. 16 seconds clear. I couldn't believe it. I was so focused on the battles, I didn't even notice the time had expired. TJ is through for the win in race 2. Jeremy Mercer, your race 1 winner, has taken 2nd. And just behind, the battle for 3rd is raging. James Leader takes it by under 0.3 of a second from VKR in 4th. Don Debian takes 5th place. Then Penguin and Martin Smith 6th and 7th. Woodward looks like he's holding on to 8th rather. And Willie and Peter, can Willie hold on to it? Yes, he does. Oh, by 0.08 of a second. The car 67 of Saucepan Willie beats out Peter O'Brien for 9th place. There's your top 10. Wow. I don't know what to say. I'm breathless. There was just no break. There wasn't a pause. There wasn't even a for 20 minutes. That was incredible racing from these guys. I don't even know who to talk to. Actually, I do know who to talk to. I'm going to see if I can drag Don in here for the post race, because that drive, is he in the server? He is not. That is a shame, because I wanted to show his car. I'm going to drag Don in here, and I'd love to talk to him about how his race went. We're going to put the interview card up and see how we can do this. We're going to drag him into... Nope, move to commentator's booth. Boop. Good evening, Don Debian. You have been dragged into the commentator's booth. What a drive in race 2. That was incredible stuff. How did it feel to jump through into the lead there in turn 1 and hold on to it for so long against these very fast dudes?
It felt pretty good for a while, but I knew what was coming. So all I could do was just keep my head down and keep driving. Yeah, and make sure the passes were uneventful. Well,
I tell you what, you were not just holding that lead, but driving away for a while. What How did you feel when you were watching the mirrors and seeing that battle just going and going and going, and that gap getting wider and wider?
At the first of the race, I was pulling a pretty good gap because I think Brandon was behind me and people were piled up a bit behind him. And then I started making some dumb little mistakes, just not focusing. And so suddenly they were back with me. So then I had to sit down and, okay, you got to focus here and drive your race and do those 129s one after the other until you get caught. So that's the way it went. It went pretty well, actually.
I tell you, that was fantastic stuff. You're decisive in the front of the field, and even after I think TJ got around you first, but it was a fight for everybody to catch up to you. You had quite the lead there, and didn't make it easy on anybody.
No, it was good. I tell you, it's nerve-wracking to go through that chicane in fourth gear, though. I'll tell you, each time with your eyes closed, basically.
Yeah, it caught a few people out, and you're just clicking off those laps, man. That was really good stuff.
Yeah, no, it was good. And the conditions were challenging, so the cooler temperatures and the lower grip, you had to drive differently. It's almost like, all of a sudden you're in a rain race, and you've got to manage your grip a lot better and your braking points and all that. So you have to adjust it on the fly, which was it was good. It was a good experience. Both sets of races, I really enjoyed both of them. Best ones for me so far this time.
Well, you certainly seem to come to grips with it, and a top 5 finish in race 2 against some very stiff competition. Well done, sir.
Yeah, thanks, Pasha. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right, it looks like everybody has noped out of Discord, so I guess that is going to be the broadcast for tonight. What a race! What a pair of races from these guys. I'm breathless. I feel like I've driven 20 minutes, not talked over it. But yeah, wow. How about that? For folks who are watching live, I wager that you were not disappointed. For folks who are watching in the future, glad you can come back and catch up with the action. Next week, same bat time, same batty channel, we will be at Red Bull Ring on the full GP circuit, where track limits are perfectly clear and never in debate. And then we will close out the season with VIR, the full course in the green, beauteous hills of Virginia. So for all of us at Plebeian Racing and Pro Sim Racing and everywhere Assetto Corsa is played, thank you very much for watching, and come back and do it again sometime.